exciting. So a few of you have asked me to do this, and while I'm stuck in Kalgoorlie for a few days, I thought, well, got good Wi-Fi reception, I might as well try it before I go back. Oh, I hope this is working. So, somebody might have to tell me, what's this? What's this button here? What does this button do? How exciting. Hang on a sec. Some messages such as potential spam may not be visible. All messages are visible. Hide all chat messages. Cancel. Chat viewing options. Okay, I need to top chat, all messages. Okay, so I'll choose. There we go. I got all the messages now. Wow. Oh, wow. Marina, are you going to... Hi, Adam. Oh, this is exciting. What a great way to connect with everybody. How fantastic. Can you all hear me well? Can someone say yep if you can hear me well? Wow, how's technology, eh? Yay. Oh, shit, you know what? I do need the reading glasses. In the afternoon when I get tired, I go to chuck them on. And I've only got them like sort of a year and a half ago, and I'm like, no! I just thought my eyes were tired, but the eye specialist said, no, you're just getting old, Roz. Wow. Okay, so how does this work? Yep, oh, beautiful. Absolutely great, Matthew. Thank you. Hi, Roxanne. Mr. Jonesy, Tony Whitty, yep, you're early. Yeah, I thought I'd be early just to make sure that it worked. Hi, Cheryl. Oh, how exciting. Kev! Oh, shit. Look, I've got coffee. I'm not on the red wine yet, Kev. Oh, this is exciting. Oh, thank you, Peter. Beautiful comments. Zell! Hi, Cheryl. Peter! Oh my. Actually, you know, when I was mopping the floor earlier on, I'm in the lunchroom of my mate's. He's got a big scrap metal business in Perth, Kenny. I've known him for 20 years, so I'm staying here in a donga. I couldn't help it. You know, I haven't done housework for ages, so I OCD the lunchroom. And oh my God, I'm hot. So, got to have a coffee to wake up. And normally I would love to do this out in the bush. And then I was going to set up across the road in the beautiful trees. And then I thought, shit, the sun's going to go down. No one's going to see me. Oh, this is exciting. So while I was mopping, I was thinking to myself, I've actually called you all my Dirt E friends. Dirt, adventure riders, and internet E, you know, E online. So you're all my Dirt E friends. How exciting. I never imagined I'd make so many internet friends through a medium like this. So what I need to do is work out. Bike boy! Bike boy! How you going, Ricardo? Oh, this is going to make me want to cry. How exciting. Just so beautiful. You met my cousin in Tassie, very military guy from the very cold government. Oh my God! Was that your cousin? Man, that was such a life-changing experience for Josie. I can't tell you. You couldn't have scripted that. How he just rocked up, like sitting across from us, and how he was connected to Josie was phenomenal. I can't believe the stories on my adventure. Can't believe them. Oh, I don't want to wear my glasses, but I have to because the writing's so tiny. I'm on a little phone. Why not put the steering down? No. Okay, so before I left Perth, I just kept adding to Artemis. Artemis was never, ever, ever meant to be. Hi, JL. Yeah, I'm coming back soon, bike boy. I never meant for Artemis to be a long-haul adventure bike, ever. And I just, I was riding with the group and you'd stop and chat and I'd go, I've ruined the shocky, got to get a new shocky. Yeah, I need new bark busters and this and that. I just kind of kept adding to it. So when I had a particularly shit year, that's how I fell into bikes. And kind of Artemis was almost together, but I'd never done a big adventure. And one week I spat the dummy and I said to my brother in business, I said, Frank, I need a week off. I'm just going to go into the forest down south. So I borrowed a set of panniers off Captain Rob, head of our adventure riding group, packed it up and off I went to the forest down south for 7 days. And anyway, 32 days later, I came out and I had my light globe moment. So everything from that point in time just happened so quick. You know, steering dampener was on the list. There was a few other things. But I never really had that opportunity to get all those other sort of important performance stuff. And I'm just brand new, you know. I'm still an amateur. I'm still working out, but definitely I'll get a steering dampener. How are you going to go back to normal? So everybody keeps saying that. You know what? What's normal for me? I'm not normal. I tried to be normal once. Where's 2 minutes of my life? 30 years ago, I was, no, I haven't put in the order for the 300L. I was looking at it, and if I could swap over the IMS tank, the Olin Shock, and my EJK, it would have been a winner. But unfortunately, I can't. They've changed it. So, but never say never. Let's wait and see. I'll do more research on it. But right now, I can't betray my Artemis, and she's gold. So today I just looked 75,500 kilometres and just had her injector clean. Oh my God, she's a fucking rocket ship. Put a new spark plug, new golden syrup in her, and she's sweet as. So for me, going back to normal life. Now, back in my normal life, during the week, I ran several businesses with my brother, and in the industrial relations, recruitment, labour hire realm, and I'm an industrial relations specialist. So during the week, it was full corporate, me, my 160 pairs of high heels, never wear the same outfit twice, would match my nail polish to my dress before I'd go to work the next day. But on the weekends, I was always bush. You know, I was bush in my boots, and then when I had a shit year where my dad died and my fiance cheated and friends were dropping off like flies with cancer left, right and centre, and you know, my beautiful son was turning 17, was into his drift cars with his dad, and we were butting heads. And, you know, I kind of just had a bad year. And this all culminated. I decided to tap out after that first 32-day adventure. That got me hooked. And then it didn't take much more to push me over the edge and send me running. So going back to normal life for me, my normal life is always a bit left of centre anyway. I do crazy shit, you know, jack of all trades, master of none, try anything once. So 30 years ago when I left Australia as a 20-year-old, bought my first apartment when I was 19 and worked for Pitman Constructions, assistant to the accountant. I was gung-ho, you know, go-getter, bought my first apartment. I was like, you know, flying high. And same thing, one day I thought, fuck, I've got everything, but my life was boring. So I sold everything within 28. I went to work, typed up my resignation on a word processor, and within 28 days I had a one-way ticket and off I went to London and travelled Europe for 2 years. And my bestie member joined me for 8 months. We bought an English ambulance, gutted it, decked it out into a luxury mobile house on wheels. So I remember coming back from that journey. It took me 6 months. 6 months I thought, fuck, everyone's changed. And you know what? Nobody changed. Everything was the same. It was me that changed. So that was exactly 30 years ago. So it's a, you know, big gap between flip outs. But I know what to expect. And I'm 30 years bolder, smarter, wiser. I'm ever the optimist, always. I always look for the good in the shit. And, you know, now what this journey's taught me, so this is a critical one, people, live in the moment. Don't spend time stressing about a future that's not even come yet, a future that none of us are guaranteed. So I just trust that the universe, you know, my dad, he's bloody pulling strings up there. Whatever happens, happens. I don't care. As long as I still get to ride my bike, I don't care. What's the longest day you've done so far? Probably crack of dawn till when the sun's just going down. And I would say those days were with Mark. I've done a couple of super long days, you know, 10 hours in the saddle, and that kind of just smashes you. But yeah, probably my longest days were with Mark. You know, the man's a machine. And when you ride with someone who's a better rider than you, they are your confidence. You know, you trust them and you ride better than you think you can ride. So yeah, I remember that time we were, you know, it was late in the day and we were on the Gibb River and Wanjana Gorge, and we'd gone to Tunnel Creek and we're trying to find somewhere to camp, and we ended up sneaking around the back of Wanjana Gorge and riding through tall grass like fucking Africa. I remember in my helmet going, Wimba, 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 Wimba. And yeah, we found our campsite just as the sun went down, and I was knackered. And this was all at the time when I had shit suspension, so my days were super long. Yeah, so, and that was before my big cartwheel. But anyway, a few long days. What in the hell are you going to watch when the end of this trip? Oh, I don't know, people. Like, you know, like I've said to you all, these, my vlogs, my memoirs, I never did this for anybody but myself. You know, I just wanted to be able to say at the end of it, fuck, I can't believe I did that, instead of I wish I did that. So I never did these to take off. I never did them for public consumption. I never did them for money. You know, my crew back in Perth said, Roz, we taught you how to fucking ride, and, you know, you're doing what we all wanted to do. So, you know, if you don't do your videos, we'll be pissed off. So I did it for that. And I did it to record my diary because, you know, I can't be bothered writing. And I love photos. I love capturing beautiful images of beautiful scenes. And no data on my phone, you know, not enough space. So YouTube was a medium to be able to do all of that and then get to a town, upload it and delete it and free up space on my phone. And the third reason, when I did try and Google certain trails, I couldn't find adventure rider videos on them. I just couldn't, you know, I couldn't find one on the Holland Track. I couldn't find one for the Savannah Way. So that was the third reason. I thought, if I'm going to videotape them, I might as well put the terrain down so that other little chickens like me can look at it and go, oh, fuck, I think I can do that. And I can do that. So I'm just stoked that they've been well received and everyone's loved them, but they weren't for anything except for me. I can't wait to go back and binge watch my journey. When on your trip did you think, oh, this is a bit gnarly, I'm stuffed? Oh, shit, a few of those times. Straight away, the Southern Old Telegraph Trail, the 9 river crossings, gun shop, that was a walk in the park. But the last one, Palm River, I think it was called, that one I didn't think I was going to get out of. And that's the one where first time I was swearing and whooping when Artemis found a bit of grip coming out of it, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'll fucking never sell you, Artemis. That was gnarly. That was hard work. Bike boy, Richard, who put me onto the McCall track in Tassie in the Franklin Gordon Wild Rivers. Okay, so here's the secret, people. Well, it's not really secret, but the video would have been an hour long. If you recall, if anyone's watched the McCall track, that ride going down those gnarly mountains to the bottom. So Richard said to me, Roz, he sent me a message and he said, see this waypoint? This is as far as me and my mates got. And if you get this far, I'll buy you seafood dinner. If you go past it, I'll be bringing it to you in hospital. I didn't see that message. I was already on the trail. I didn't have reception. And me, curious, itch need to scratch. You know, I got down that second gnarly mountain. I went, oh, fuck, waypoint's just down there. I gotta go. I gotta see what's at the end of the trail. I'll never forgive myself. So when I came out, and you'll see it all on the video, and I took off up the second gnarly hill, which was the scariest one, and the handlebars hit the tree and sent me on the trajectory of the real rocky stuff, and I dropped it. It took me half an hour to get the bike up and get it down. My heart was pounding. I was shit myself. And then in the video, you see me do it a second time, and I actually get up and I'm ready to pass out and have to stop because I'm seeing stars. There was 3 drops. The second drop was, honestly, millimetre for millimetre, exactly like the first drop. It was splitting image. And I was like, no, like, I gotta get out of here. Like, that was terrifying. And then by the third time, so it was third time lucky, I got out. So yeah, lots of gnarly ones. Oh, and the old Garn Heritage Trail. Oh, I wish these messages would stay up. Yeah, you do owe me that dinner, bike boy. Seafood, scallops, crayfish, crab, oysters. Give me a good excuse to come back, make you pay. Another one. The subject of cost has always come up. So I've kind of, you know, to be honest, I didn't look at my internet banking for a long time, and I haven't counted the pennies on this trip. I've worked hard my whole entire life. I'm 52 years of age. My ex-husband got the benefit of, you know, the first half of my life's major hard work, and then 7 years later, my fiance. And so that cost me a shitload of money. in that year of trauma that I took off, I said to myself, this is my year. I'm not counting the pennies. I kind of have sort of worked out that if you budget on $100 a day, that'll cover everything, and do as much wild camping as you can, because then it puts you in the head of your budget. I've spent a little bit more than that because of these things, and I'll give them up before I go back, was my promise to myself. But this was the year that I was going to tap out and do whatever I wanted to do, buy whatever I wanted to buy, go wherever I wanted to go. And so I didn't count, and I did a lot of preventative maintenance on the bike, wasted a lot of money. So for instance, when the clutch blew up, wasn't the clutch, replaced a lot of stuff prematurely. I've had one flat, tiny little rusty nail on a logging track in Tassie. When my tyre, I was actually on my way back to Devonport to get a fresh tyre. So normally if I know I'm going to do gnarly stuff and I'm going to be 5,000 Ks away from another fresh tyre, if I've still got 3,000 Ks left on my tyre, I don't give a shit. I'll change it. For me, it's cheap insurance. You know, Mark, we did that first 2 months in WA. He had an issue with his chain. 2 months later, he rode out to meet me again with the same chain issue. Mate, that killed us. We were gunning it through the Flinders and Arkaroola and, you know, to get to New South Wales because his chain was going to fail. And I'm like, $150, mate. Just fucking change your chain. So when it comes to travelling solo, out in the wild, by myself, and I know I want to get out, I do a lot of premature maintenance that I probably wouldn't do in the city. I'd run things down a lot lower. So I've blown a shitload of money on this trip. But you know what? It's the best money I've ever spent. The best money. I don't regret 1 cent. It's been the best adventure of my entire life. Do it all again. Next question. Oh, I love this. Thank you, darling Fran. Most expensive bottle of red? I can't, you know, when I woke up, when you see me in some of the videos and I got those horror bags, that's a $20 bottle of red that's got lots of sulfites, but beggars can't be choosers. So normally if I buy a red, it's about a $35 or $40 bottle, but on special. So yeah, dearest bottle I've bought is $40. You know, back in the city when I worked 100 hours a week in my office, yeah, I wouldn't bat an eyelid on a $60 bottle of red. It was my reward for fucking killing myself at work. But you know, out in the country towns and that, you don't get nice reds and yeah, and I don't like paying full price for anything anymore. It's, you know, minimalist living for me. So if I can buy a good bottle of red on special like I did tonight, what did I get? I bought Ken one as well. But yeah, they were $30 bottles of red down to $20. Beauty. I bought 2. Oh, I wish these messages would stay up. They sort of come up and I get to see them and then they fade out. How can I make live chat all messages show me? How'd you manage to take 12 months off work? So this is it. I've been in industrial relations for 12 years. You know, work an average of 60 hours a week in my office. We had 25 staff. I work like a dog. You know, I left school at the end of year 10, went into a family business. I've worked hard my whole entire life. When I had that bad year, I did that first 32-day journey down south and had my light bulb moment. And people around me were dying and, you know, just, I had a lot of shit going on in my life and I lost my dad. And so my light globe moment was a meme. It was a meme. A meme sort of turned it all around for me. And it was a simple meme and I've used it heaps of times and I repeat it heaps of times. You don't buy things with money, you buy them with hours of your life. Now, when I offloaded a lot of shit before this journey, I invited all the girlfriends over and I got a 4-bedroom apartment, 2 rooms, full rooms, walk-in wardrobes, 160 pairs of high heels, 300 belts, 300 bags, easy. You know, that was all my rewards for working hard. When I brought all of that stuff out into my foyer and family room and dining and living room, ready for all the girls to come round, every day that I was taking more clothes out and jamming them into the racks, I would walk past and I'd look at one rack and go, that would have been a year travelling America on my bike. That rack, that would have been a year in Africa. That bike, that rack, that would have been a year on the Trans-European Trail. I started to convert everything that I'd worked hard for and fuck, trust me, I earned my money. No one worked harder than me. I converted all my material possessions into the experiences that they would have bought me. And you know what? Fucking broke my heart. It broke my heart. you know, here I am 52, lucky I'm still in good health, but why the fuck didn't I do this 20 years ago? Why didn't I work out work-life balance all those years ago? So when I came straight back from the 32-day light globe moment, I went and saw my brother and I said, Frank, I'm tapping out. I need you to buy me out. So that's what he did. Yeah, he wasn't too happy about it, but he gets it and he bought me out. So, you know, all my lifetime's work, I've walked away for minimal gain and gave up my whole secure, financial, comfortable future. And I've never been happier. There's a lot to be said for minimalist living. You know, you don't buy things with money, you buy them with hours of your life, and it's all stuff. And it's stuff that you've got to repair and look after and worry about getting stolen. I don't have that problem anymore. Free as a bird. Okay, was surprised how long... No, I was surprised. Like the rescue aeroplane was overhead within 30 minutes. The Royal Flying Doctor Service, they couldn't get to us. It was actually a mining rescue helicopter and it was their spare one. So no, I wasn't surprised, but that's because at first with my Garmin Explorer Plus, I was in contact with Shane's wife and explained to him what I thought his injuries were and that he was comfortable and he was well. The fact that he didn't pass out, the fact that when I asked him for his name and address and his date of birth and his wife's phone number and all that, he was very with it. Had he passed out or had he been having... Because Paul Chidgay, if you're on here, my buddy Paul, a bench rider, he had a similar scenario, I think 9 months ago, smashed his head, didn't think anything of it, left it for a few days, got a blinding headache, eventually went and sought help. Now he had brain damage, he had a brain bleed. So that was playing freaking heavily on my mind. I was like, shit myself. But to me, I knew he'd severely injured himself, but the fact that even though he had the bruise on his head, he was lucid and he was able to talk to me and tell me everything. So, and then once Rick arrived and the plane dropped the sat phone and the UHF radio, Rick, being a paramedic, was on the case and telling them his review of Shane. So at that stage, the helicopters and all that knew that he was in good hands and could wait overnight and be picked up the next day. So yeah, thank God for Rick. I was shitting myself. Yeah. Next question. I love this. This is so, you know, I've made so many friends on YouTube and Facebook that I haven't met you guys. I freaking love you guys. How am I going to go back to work? Oh, the next day's ride. Yeah, I'll wake up in the morning over coffee. I open up my iPhone 8 and I'll tell you quickly how I do it. So, don't know if you can see this, but this is the Earthmate app that I use. It's Bluetooth to my Garmin. So when I've got the Garmin satellite plan, this is the app that Garmin recommend to use. So here's my journey around Australia. They're all my waypoints. That's all the places that I've been. So for instance, now we're here. So I would wake up in the morning and I zoom in and like that's mountains. Okay, where's some green? And then I zoom in on the map and I look at the tracks and I look at the trails and I see national parks and then I see sections of like wild forest and I just, while I'm over coffee and a cigarette, I'm following trails and I go, oh, that's interesting. So I'll just drop some waypoints and off I go. And you know what? There's no greater freedom. There's no greater excitement than not knowing, what that day holds in store for you. And sometimes, I kind of, drop my waypoints, but along the way I'll go, ooh, what's up there? Best go have a look. And I don't end up where I planned on going, but that's the freedom. It's freedom of having a journey where you don't have a time limit, no time constraints, no responsibilities, not worried about anything. It's freedom unparalleled. So I miss my family. This is the one thing that kills me, my family and my dog. Scary moments. The only time on this whole entire journey that I've ever felt unsafe, and it wasn't for my personal safety, but it was that of my bike and my gear, was Fitzroy Crossing just recently. And the girls said, don't leave your gear unattended. If you go to the shower, don't leave your gear unattended. If you go to Geeky Gorge, no, I wouldn't recommend parking your bike. And so they said, look, we've got security issues. And a couple of mates from Perth who knew the area well were like, yeah, Roz, just be very mindful. But outside of this journey, people, I spend a lot of time in the bush. I'm a little bit of a hunter-gatherer. I have a great knife collection. Back in Perth, I do practical pistol shooting. I do archery. I spend a lot of time out in the bush. You know, I come across feral wild pigs, tiger snakes. To me, to be honest, the only thing that scares me is the unknown factor, is humans. So I'm either at a caravan park where, you know, it's a bit of a controlled environment, or when I'm out in the wild, I like to be away from humans. Nature doesn't scare me. Animals are predictable. They just want to get through the day and survive to the next. You know, they're more scared of us than we are of them. Nature's my friend. I love nature, but it's just the unpredictable nature of humans. So yeah, when I'm out in the bush, I like to sort of disguise myself and lay low. I have got my Brad from BF Fab, my centre stand. That's a great aluminium baseball bat. If I feel, you know, a little bit uneasy going to sleep at night, that's next to me. My best mate Steve bought me a pepper spray. I don't think I've ever taken it out of my top bag. I'm not afraid of being out in the bush by myself, and for those of you that do it often, because you're desensitised to that fear and you start to see the beauty in nature and you realise actually the cities are scary. The cities are very, very scary. Not nature, not in the wild. Never once. Crocs worried me a little bit, and it took me a long time after I was out of the croc territories. You know, I'd see water and I'd go, oh, fuck, crocs. Oh, shit, no crocs. The crocs were a bit of a worry, and, you know, there's plenty of places I camped up on ridges and high off the banks. But when I was with Scott in Northern Territory going through Tipperary Station, and I think Bruno was one of the owners of the property, and he said, Ros, you know, I've driven down a fire break in the farm ute, and there's been a 5 metre croc walking across the paddock. You know, they'll walk for 3 or 4 kilometres to another. I know, how's that, Zell? So I don't often share that with people, but yeah. And so when I actually saw the name Artemis, and then I Googled and saw what it represented, so she was the goddess of hunting, and all her statues were with her archery, her bow, and a deer and a stag, her hound. I was like, oh my God, how's that? So that's how Artemis came about. And so when I found out that crocs can walk 4 or 5 kilometres across a paddock, I'm like, it doesn't matter if you're up on a bank, a fucking croc's going to walk up and eat you. So that was the only thing that made me nervous. I've slept in a ditch below a grizzly. Oh my God, that would have been scary as. You know, people say motorcycle tour business. Your ex-wife worries you, Craig. Well, you know what they say, happy wife, happy life, buddy. Why do you mount the bike in opposite ways? And I'll get back to the tour thing. Okay, so my bike's quite loaded up. Now, here's the thing about my bike, people. I'm a short ass, my bike's tall. I've got a 40mm lowering link in it, but that was so that they could get more play out of the Olin's Heavy Duty Spring. It didn't lower the bike any. So when I parked on uneven ground, I know I can always rely on the side that's got the stand. It's not going to tip over on the side that's got the stand. But the side that doesn't have the stand, if I'm on level ground, the tipping point for the bike to go on the opposite side of the stand is nothing. So I get off on that side so that if the bike tips on the side where there's no stand, it's easy for me to stop the bike like that. Whereas if I get off on the side that's got the stand and the bike tips away from me, trying to grab the bike and pull it up, no two ways about it. I'll strain my back, I'll pull my shoulder blades. Trying to pull the bike back that way is near impossible. Whereas if I get off on this side, I know it's not going to fall that way because the stand's going to stop it from falling that way. But if it falls towards me, I'm a lot stronger. I can put my legs back and push the bike back up, and I know it's not going to go over because the stand's there. So I act as a second sort of human stand by getting off on that side. And same as when I get on the bike, you know, I can easily just throw a leg over the bike, and because my weight and inertia is going in the direction of where the stand is, I know the bike's not going to fall over because the stand's down. But when I get on the bike this way and with the bike loaded up, and especially if the ground's on the low side, by the time I go to put my foot down and realise the ground is lower, then the bike gets to about a 20% tipping point and she's going over. There's no way that I can save her. My leg is already fully extended on the ground on its tippy toe. So I don't have the full use of thigh and calf muscles because I'm already fully extended. So that's the methodology in that madness. Good dog. Skeet still has your old mirror hanging on his... Good on you, Skeet. Miss you, Chris. How you going with the lockdown, you poor bastard? That was such a great adventure catching up with you guys. I've watched only a couple of my videos on this journey. Every now and again, something will come up. Somebody will make a comment, and I'll go back and watch the video, and I'll cry and I'll laugh. And did you train before starting the adventure? No. I've just did you have your boots on or your double pluggers? No, I had my boots on. Didn't have my thongs carrying the stretcher. So there were 6 of us carrying the stretcher. I was on the right-hand side and I was in the middle. So Ben was in front of me. Now, the big burly guys, they could just hold the stretcher with one hand. I was using both hands, so I was sort of crabbing sideways. And because the stretcher wasn't that long and there's 6 of us, or 3 on this side, I once or twice, because I'm crabbing, stepped on the back of Ben's heels. So I'm trying to do tiny little baby steps and hold on with 2 hands and, do my share to hold the stretcher up. So, yeah, it was just an awkward position, and that was all the deep sand and rocks, and it was actually the exact spot where he lost his shit with the bike. That's when the bike lost control. So that's how I hurt the ankle. And, I tell you, it fucking hurt. It was so painful. And for me, because I can't take painkillers, I've got an intolerance to codeine, so I'm a bit tough. But instead of getting all, crying sooky, when I'm in pain, I get angry. I really get angry. So the more my ankle was in pain, the more I just wanted to get back to camp. And I rode that trail probably, I definitely had my Toby Price on. I probably shouldn't have done, because I'm pretty good with catch myself being a bit reckless. But I just wanted to get back. Yeah, I was in excruciating pain. I wanted to get off it. Tassie was amazing. Just back from the Cape. How did you enjoy the Cape? Marty, my buddy Marty. I'm going to miss this journey when it's over too. Really going to miss it. But, initially I gave myself just 1 year. 1 year to tap out of life and do whatever I want. Oh my God, the highlights. So many people have asked me, what's my favourite places? What's my highlights? When you're talking about, coasts and deserts and forests and mountains, it's so hard to pick. I think when I go back and I get to binge watch my journeys, I'll pick my top 10, but there's definitely a stack that, Tassie to me, when people say, what's your most favourite place in Australia? Let's leave Tassie to the side. Tassie for me is Adventure Riders Utopia. Before I went there, I had this thing in my head that, lots of twisty, bendy blacktop and, the trails are gnarly and, mountainous and really hard to ride. Bullshit. You can do the whole of Tassie on hands down the best trails ever. They've got such wild weather over there. When they build trails, their trails are phenomenal to withstand the weather. You can do the whole entire Tassie just crossing over blacktop, but you can do the whole lot on dirt if you wanted to. It was phenomenal. So that was Adventure Riders Utopia. How people can just go for 5 or 7 days, I don't know. You need 2 months. What have I learnt about myself? I'll do a 10 mega cut. Planning to adventure, just get out there with. That's it. Go. To me, the 50% of my journey, the most incredible part was the freedom. The freedom, not having plans, not having deadlines, not having restrictions. If you're going to go on an adventure ride, work out your beginning, work out your end. But if you can, just let it organically develop, because 50% of the joy of my journey has been that complete and utter freedom and the not knowing. You know what it's like. If the wife or the husband gets you a Christmas present for once in your life, you don't know what it is. How fucking exciting is that? The excitement is in not knowing. The excitement is in the freedom to let the adventure just organically unfold. Some days you don't want to ride that far, other days you can go for 10 hours. You know, some days you find a magic spot and you want to stop, but if you've got a deadline, you've got to leave it, and you have these regrets. You know, to have a journey organically just roll, trust the universe. I do that. The universe been freaking mint on my journey. Ros, 4 p.m. What does 4 p.m. mean? Would I do it again? In a freaking heartbeat. Anything you regret not doing, spending more time at a place and location. I don't like to have regrets. Okay, one regret that comes straight to my head was when I was in Freycinet National Park in Tasmania, and I met the 4 beautiful freaking mountaineers, and it was a long day. It was getting really cold, and they were still doing their tightrope walking and, you know, doing the bouncing and standing up. And Paulie said to me, "Ros, do you want to go?" If I wasn't sitting there for the last bloody 2 hours videotaping them with just a t-shirt on and just my sort of over jacket, I was freezing my tits off. I was so cold. I was shaking. And because I got no fat on me, one, I feel the cold more, and two, I burn through a lot of energy because, you know, I'm cold. And I just said, "Polly, I'd love to, but I'm so freaking cold." I said, I've got to go back to camp. And I was walking back to camp, and I kicked myself all the way back to camp. You know, they were small little guys. He goes, "My harness will fit you." So I regret not getting on that tightrope. That would have been the, hands down, best adrenaline buzz ever. Yeah, wish I did that. So that's a regret. Nah, fuck politics. Not PM, but Premier of WA. The current one won't let anyone into the state. You know what? My regret was when I got to Port Hedland, I jumped on social media and caught up with the whole COVID thing. Specky. Actually, that was Mark. You know, that's spectacular with the capital spec, and it's just stuck. That's a legit regret, Paul. I wish I did it. I'm going to film a homecoming. It's my memoirs. Never. And, you know, some people have said to me, you know, Ros, you know, surely you must have snuck across the border somewhere or something. People, I videotaped my whole entire fucking journey as if I could lie. The COVID police would have been onto me and fined me a $50,000 fine, and I'd be locked up in jail. I have, hands down, had the best luck. You know, people ask me, the universe, my dad. When I say thank you, universe, I'm talking about my guardian angels. So here's a little secret, people. Universe, whatever it is, I really do feel like my dad's been on this journey. And when I think about it, okay, picture this. It's like Game of Thrones. He's up there with the other beautiful people that I've lost in my life. And they got this big table like Game of Thrones with a big map of Australia. And they got this little wooden motorbike. And when Mark was with me, because his dad Frank was up there as well with my dad Frank, 2 little wooden motorbikes, and they've got the little pushy things, and they're pushing it around going, "Yeah, make him go up there and block that road. We don't want him to go down there. And you deal with the weather. You get her a front row spot on that campsite. I don't care, make somebody cancel." You know, when I was cartwheeling down the Gibb River, my dad would have had his wings wrapped around me. There's no way I should have got up and walked away from that. My dad's been with me on this journey. I've been so lucky. Oh, mate, some of those tank slappers, yeah. So the one on the Gibbs saw me doing the cartwheel. That was horror. I've escaped COVID, left, right and centre, just pure luck, pure universe. You know, delaying me or making me, you know, come out of the wild and go to Victoria to get the only D606 Dunlop tyre in all of Melbourne. And there I was that day, and Mark's ready to leave, and he's going, "Shit, Rosie, I think they're going to lockdown." And then the guy at the bike shop said, "You going to Tassie?" No, we're going to lockdown to midnight tonight. And I'd already booked, so that was a Friday, and I'd booked my ticket for the ferry on Monday. I'd only come out of the wild to book the ticket and get the tyre. And I went, what the fuck? So I tried to call the Spirit of Tasmania, couldn't get through. The message said do it online. I jumped online, tried to change my booking because I could change it in 48 hours. Couldn't do it. It said all the car spaces were full. I went, mate, I got to go to the ferry terminal. So I rode like a crazy woman 20 minutes down the road to the ferry terminal, put my stupid fucking mask on, sprinted in there. And as well as a $550 one-way ticket that I'd already paid, they slugged me another $230 to change it. that I was on the ferry that night, and I was on the lawn waiting 4 hours to board that boat. And, you know, a few of us were all talking. We're like, shit, hang on. When you get on the boat, land at the other side, when you be locked up in $4,000 pay, quarantine on the other side, we're like, oh no, what have we done? But half an hour into the boat trip, all of us sitting at the bar, our phones, ding, 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 ding. Everyone's phones are going up and we're all looking. And it was the message from Tasmanian Health saying because we're in transit before midnight, we wouldn't have to quarantine. Well, fuck, you didn't think we all celebrated. So that's been my luck the whole entire way. The whole entire way. I've had the universe. You know, I've had a lot of hard years in my life. I've worked hard. I've looked after a lot of people. And I've been screwed by several people. And the universe is kind of, I feel, on this journey go, this is your time. Come on, let's go on an adventure. And it has hands down delivered the most incredible adventure of my life. Never. If you'd asked me 3 years ago in my bloody Jimmy Choo high heels and my designer dresses that I'd be travelling around Australia as a feral dirt chick, I would have gone, fuck off. So this is how Yay Paul has turned up. Yay! So Zell and Paul. So I was in Yakandanda and I was having something to eat and kind of working out my next route. And Paul, this guy rocks up to me. So I'm talking about you, Paul. Paul rocks up to me and he's, you know, a push bike, mountain bike rider. And he's shaking and he goes, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not normally this emotional. And I'm going, you're right, mate. You're right. Do you want a drink? And he goes, can't believe it's you. And I'm like, oh. He goes, Roz. I said, yeah. And he goes, oh my God, I've been following your journey. And he goes, oh, my mate Zell. And Zell rings. And actually, Zell, you don't know this, but Paul hung up on you. And I went, mate, you can't do that to your mate. Get your mate on the phone. And that's when he rang back and I spoke to you. And so made that connection. But yeah, that was just so funny. It was just absolutely beautiful. And you nearly cried, darling. But look at that. We're all best mates, thanks to the internet. Mrs. Brown's. Yep. So Peter, I walked in and she didn't know who you were until, and then she said, oh, when I said, Peter Horse. And she goes, oh, Hat Man. I said, yeah, that's him. My only comment was the front shocks, you got them fixed and stopped falling off. Absolutely. So my suspension, okay, so people, my suspension was shit for 25,000 kilometres of my journey. Back in Perth, I had the Olins put in, I had the front shocks worked over. The front was too hard. On an enduro day, I actually bailed and went back to camp. The front wheel went in a rut. It was like a handbrake, slammed me down. I fist punched a rock and I shattered the bone in my hand. So I had a lot of grief with the suspension on my bike. But 90% of it, I kind of didn't know because I'm such an amateur. And then, you know, saw another guru before I left Perth. That made it better. By the time I did the Holland track, I always called it the Hammond Trail. So Mark and I actually refer to it as the Hammond Trail now. But did the Holland track, dropped it 10 times, broke the mirror, smashed the front of my boot, ripped up my panniers. And then Ray Moore had to play with it in Kalgoorlie. He made it better. But the whole time, like, it wasn't until I had my stack on the gib. And then Mark rode my bike back. And there I was dying in Colin Fitzgerald's house that he lent me because I was pretty fucked over. And Mark walks in, he goes, Rossi, how the fuck have you been riding this bike? And I'm like, what do you mean, Dale? And he goes, it's a piece of shit. He goes, I don't know how you've been riding it. And I'm like, I don't know any better, you know? I just don't know. Is it really that bad? And anyway, so the story goes, you know, another suspension specialist saw the guys in Northern Territory, and every time somebody played with it, Mark played with it, it got better and better and better. And in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, my bike's mint. But it wasn't until I saw Wyatt, and I know I rave about Wyatt at FFRC in Brisbane, but he had the bike for a week. I put a 20-kilo concrete bag on it and a couple of bags of bloody Mims Roundup in the panniers and left the bike with him for a week. And he was roughly same weight as me, but he was taller. And when I picked the bike up a week later, I cried all the way out to Inaminka, cried all the way down the Stress Lakey. I finally, like, it was night and day difference. And when you feel what your bike should feel like when the suspension's mint, you don't realise how shit suspension is when it's shit, and how critical it is to your riding and to your safety and to your fatigue. So yeah, next time I need a full overhaul done, for all the money that I've spent on suspension, I'll just ship my bike over to Wyatt, or actually I'll fly him over and get it done. It's, it's just not worth it. Broken hand, crashes, everything, do a bike drop compilation. Somebody said to me the other day, I got about 100 hours of footage. This is going to take me 2 weeks of 24 hours a day bloody binge watching to get through my videos. Will I handle the humans in the big city? Yeah, the Think racetrack, that was phenomenal. How I didn't cartwheel dab it, how I didn't bin it on that track is pure miracle. And the tragic thing was, doing 80 like that, just hanging on for sheer life, looking across at the track, and the actual racetrack was better. But you know what? I couldn't slow down. If I slowed down to get onto the racetrack, I would have cartwheeled up the road. It was fucking horror. That track was horror. I'll never forget that. That was my own personal Think race. I didn't have to enter the race. I already did my own race, and I can't believe that I crossed the finish line in one piece. I give myself a pat on the back for that one. That killed me. How will I handle the humans back in the city? You know what? My whole life I've been a chameleon. None. I've never had one traffic infringement. I don't know if you know, the Artemis can't go over the speed limit. I cross the Northern Territory and there's a sign 130. I'm going, oh fuck, I'd kill to have my Alpha now. She sits on 100. She can do 118, 119 to overtake a triple road train, but she can't speed for me to get a fine. I wish she could. But there's been several times that I've, been cruising on her and thinking to myself, if I did have, because I'm a rev head, you all know I'm a rev head. If I did have a bigger and more powerful bike, there's a good possibility I could have wiped myself out on a cow or a kangaroo or in a rat or, with a car or, the fact that she can't go 130 or 140 kilometres an hour has probably saved my life, and it's slowed me down and made me smell the roses, and I see the lizards and I see the flowers and I see the rats and I see the cattle moving and I see the kangaroos coming. So yeah, she's the fact that she can't speed. So no traffic infringements, no parking fines, good law-abiding citizen. Camel or a horse? I've seen them all on this journey, yeah. I've had camels and bloody horses, everything. I rode a camel in Wadi Rum in Jordan. Actually, I'd love it. I'd love to do a big trek on a camel. That'd be freaking exciting. What else? I know. Sorry, it's taken me so long to do it, but I don't like coming to towns nowadays because I'm out in the wild. When I sort of get to a town, I kind of just want to smash it, get my fuel, get my food and get back out. Yeah, donkeys, I've seen donkeys. Nothing I haven't seen. Except the elusive. I'm still looking for the elusive 5 metre in the wild Mr. Croc. He escaped me. I've seen plenty of freshies. At night time I've done the spotlighting, and because the freshy eyes are different to the salty eyes. Freshy eyes are more on the top of their head, little closer together. Salties are more further apart. So I've seen that at night time in the rivers, but I've still looked high and low for the elusive Mr. Gigantic Croc on the bank of a river somewhere. I haven't seen him. So unfinished business, Mr. Croc. I'll get him one day. Rodinger to Fink after the Fink, got called off, can't understand. Oh, you can understand why I cursed it. Yeah, it was horror. Chambers, that was beautiful as well. 42 Ks, that was a little bit of sand. I thought that was going to be my easy ride the next day after that horrific track, but yeah, that was a little bit hard work too. No drop bears. I've seen koalas, yeah, in New South Wales, that beautiful Lake Sandball. Stayed there, it was beautiful. It was the cutest, but you know what? One night I was in the bush, and mate, and I know my animals, but I heard this growling, like full blown, like horror. Yeah, I've seen a panther. Okay, so Taffy, It's the Great Otways. I know what I saw, but I can't prove what I saw. And it was hard pack when I came around the corner. There's no way. And the wallabies in that area were darker, like really dark coats. But for that wallaby to jump up that 1.5 metre embankment with a leap, it's, you know, in my head, and because I spent a lot of time out the bush with animals, I know what I saw, but I can't, you know, 1,000% say that's exactly what I saw, but it stopped me in my tracks. I got off the bike straight away, hoping to catch a glimpse of it, but I didn't, and I spent a good half an hour really scouring the track for tracks, and there was no, I was riding through the Great Otways like it was a day ride. I don't drink and ride. Oh, the quoll. Mate, I'll kill that little fucker one day. Mate, he was a little rascal. I didn't know they were like that. He got into my chocolates, he stole my cup, he stole my double pluggers, he stole my bloody Cedar Summit coffee spoon. He was a little rat bag. I didn't know they did that. It was funny. Yeah, panthers disappear fast. So let me tell you my other time that I've seen a big cat. So the first 32-day journey that I did down south, I was at Northcliffe. And went for a ride that day, and I actually stayed in a B&B that night with a beautiful couple. And I went and checked out Chesapeake Road because I knew the next day I had to ride down that trail to get to a ford, and I didn't know how much water was in there. And you got to remember, I was a full-blown amateur in the early days. So I'm riding down Chesapeake Road, and it went for miles. And it was a big, wide, 10-metre wide gravel road, a little bit of corro, but it was wide and, just a straight road. So I got halfway down it and I went, you know what, doesn't matter, I'll just go this way tomorrow. If I hit the ford and there's too much water, I'll just turn around and go a different way out. But I didn't want to keep riding this day. So I actually stopped in the middle of the track, had a ciggy. So I had my helmet off on the mirror, I was having a ciggy. Anyway, so I've had a lot of experience out on the farms with feral pigs and goats, and so I know my feral animals. Anyway, so I turned around and, having a drag and looked down the road and I was like, whoa, big black pig. And it was about 150 metres away. And the second, because all I saw was black initially, and then bang, something registered. And I'm looking, I'm going, that is no pig. Mate, it had the tail was 1 metre long. It was down at a low crouch, like it was slinking across the road in a stalk. And I actually started shaking straight away because I just could not believe what I was seeing. And flipped around and I'm trying to get my phone off the freaking quad lock, just when you really want it off. By the time I wrangled that off, got the video mode turned around, just the last of its tail had crossed the track. It was only a 10-metre wide track. And straight away I was like, I cannot believe what I just saw. First thing I did was bang the helmet on, because if a cat's going to attack you, that's what they do, straight to the jugular. So first thing, just natural instinct, helmet, banged it on, fucking gloved up, got a cigarette out, jumped on my bike, and I had to ride past where he crossed over. I was like, fucking shit myself. Got back, went to the pub straight away, cornered some old timers out in the back of the bar having a beer, and I walked up and I said, hey fellas, you got cats down here? And they said, oh, what kind of cats? And I said, the mythical big black cat. And they went, why? Did you see one? And they said, did you get a photo? And they said, oh, it's a mythical cat then, isn't it? So twice in my life, but I've seen some strange creatures on this journey. Oh, don't even ask me about the UFO experience at bloody Arthur River in Tassie. That was amazing too. That was awesome. Oh my God, we've been talking for 54 minutes. So you all know now that I can't do a short story. My favourite bike, obviously Artemis. I'm looking at the T7, I'm looking at the 701, Pinot Noir actually, but anything good quality. Yeah, absolutely their hips are higher than their shoulders. And they're just slinkier how they walk. Next bike, don't plan on a next bike. I definitely was looking at the 300L. For me, perfect. I've proven to myself that, it is triple washed hair. Yeah, and I did another colour to get rid of the greys. I got my reverse balayage going on. looking at the 300L, but I really did, I would have been a goer if I could swap over the Olan's, the IMS tank and the EJK, because that's, $3,000 worth of accessories that I could have just swapped straight over and then put those new parts back on Artemis. So then if my son wanted to come riding or, somebody else wanted to take it up and wanted to learn whatever, I would let them come with Artemis. But yeah, so I'm not thinking just yet. Do you know, it's amazing. Can you believe it? This bike? Hey, Snitch away, Josie, my sister from another mister. I love you, darling. I cooked the biggest batch here the other night for the whole crew. It was amazing. Yeah, DR650, another good bike. DRZ400s, tractors. There's so many good bikes out there. And, for me, I think the most important thing is the capacity to pick it up fully loaded. When you go off the beaten track and you're on your own, you've got to be able to pick your bike up. Next trip, I'll do a whole bunch of trips when I get home. I can't wait thank you, Jimmy. I'll do a whole lot of group rides with my crew. So 17th to the 19th, we're going out to Wellington Dam, where it all started for me. It was, I think, a month into joining the crew and I was the only girl and I went out camping and adventure riding with 10 of these top blokes and they were the best blokes ever. Can't thank my crew enough. So we're actually going back there. Love you, darling girl. Hope you're not too cold. You and Ricardo staying nice and warm. Going back to Wellington Dam in, I think it's about 3 weeks' time or 4 weeks' time. I'll go camping with the crew and, I'll go do lots of little mini adventures when I'm home. How do you maintain your period and trips? I love the trips. How I maintain my periods. What are you talking about? Are you talking about like women's menstrual periods? If you're talking about that, I've got the Marina. I don't get them. Yay! And I spent a gazillion dollars on IPL, so I haven't had to shave either. Yay! Pippa and Daisy send their kisses too. Mwah! Big hugs to them. I've met so many amazing dogs on this journey. As you all know, I'm a dog lover and I can't wait to get home to my Turbo. Okay, that's a good question, Evil Knievel. How many kilometres are practical for you? When I hear people say, I've got to do 600 kilometres today or 800 kilometres or even 500, I'm fucking horrified. I think, for me, a massive day is 450 kilometres. It's worse when it's on the blacktop. So people, me on the blacktop, because you're just in one position on the bike, kills my lower back, kills my shoulders, kills my neck. Every 100 kilometres on blacktop, I have to stop and stretch out. But I can do 300 kilometres on the dirt and be fine. For me, just about, Roger, close. I'm single, happily. You're welcome, James. For me, on average, I think, if I do 150, 200 kilometre day, and that's with stopping off and smelling the roses and looking at the wildflowers and doing trekking up a hill or walking in a creek or sitting in the bush and having a snack, for me, that's joy. That's joy. Some days I can do 350 kilometres because I'm in the zone. I just want to keep riding. I'll come across great places and I go, fuck it, I'm just going to keep going because I'm in the mood for riding. So say maximum a 300 kilometre day if you're doing dirt. Sorry, this is a big day for me. Only because I stop heaps. Coffee's gone cold. Thanks, Angela and Grant Franklin, my beautiful people in New South Wales. I don't know how people can do 600, 700, 800 kilometres. What are you seeing? So my sister's going to do that. Hey, Johnny Wombat, the amazing race application. Now, my sister, you're going to meet my sister. She's a fucking nutter as much as I am. We manufactured in China for 10 years. This was before my 12 years in industrial relations, and our China trips were gold. We did Jordan for my 50th and her 51st. Yeah, that's it. Maximum. 500 on the hard top, maximum. 5 hours on blacktop would kill me still. We did a trip to Jordan and rode camels and swam in the Dead Sea and got the salt in our eyes. When my sister and I do adventures, we are nuts. We laugh, we do crazy shit. I miss her so much. Didn't smell like coffee. Would you do a subscriber ride with everybody if it could happen? Okay, so somebody asked me that question before about doing tours and stuff like that. Now, for instance, back in Perth, I rode for 1 year with my crew. You know, they all taught me how to ride. They tried to kill me, didn't succeed. That made me a better rider. Towards the end of sort of 1 year, and then not long after that, I actually took off on my adventure. So I only really rode adventure riding 1 year with a bunch of people. But after about 6 or 7 months, I got confident enough, like I'd nick off from my office during the week and go get lost in the forest and come back and look at my tracking and go, yeah, I love that trail, I love that trail. So on a couple of occasions, sorry, I'm dry as. A couple of occasions, I was like, oh, I'll lead a ride today, for the weekend. And my crew would be like, yeah, you're all right. And they're fucking awesome rides. They're like, oh, just great trails. And that's because I went off exploring on my own. But I tell you what, when you're riding with other people and you're doing it, you're leading the group, you feel responsible for other people. 1, you feel responsible that they have a good time. 2, you worry about their safety. 3, when you get a bunch of new people who you haven't met before, you don't know how they ride, you don't know their skills. So, I'm like, oh shit, I know my crew can do that trail, but these sort of newbies, and I don't think they will, so I'll have to change plans mid-stride. The pressure and responsibility you feel when you're riding with other people is quite immense, and it takes a lot of that freedom and joy away from it. I don't know that I would like sort of set up tours. I'd like to think maybe that my memoirs with showing the tracks and the trails and the journey, that a lot of people will actually go find the courage and do it themselves and look at the footage and go, yeah, we think we can do those trails. And you know what, like now, early in the piece, I wanted to know what trails were like. And I reckon from about the 6-month mark onwards, I want to know what a trail's like. Don't tell me. I would rather not know. When you kind of know when somebody says, oh yeah, it's gnarly and it's got deep sand in there, you build up an anxiety, and everyone's perception of what a trail is like is different to the next person. Forward drivers, they got it so wrong. They were either well off the mark, it was worse than what they said, or it was 100% better than what they said. And even other adventure riders, when they say something to me, that's based on how they ride and their experience. So even that's not always accurate. So for me, when I don't know what a trail's like, 1, it's exciting, and 2, if it's shit, you push yourself, you go, oh, I'll just go a little bit further, and oh, I've gone this far now, I'll just go a little bit further. And at one point or another, you come out the other side and you go, yay! Yay! I'm so glad I did that. Whereas I might not have done it. If it's obviously clearly horror dangerous, and there's not many that I've done that, I'll just turn around and go back the way I came. But I'd rather not know now. So hopefully people will just, go and do the adventures themselves. Yeah, I'd rather not know. Yeah, don't tell me. I'll do, I'll still videotape the group rides and my little mini adventures because they're my memoirs. And I was kind of, doing that with the group. Big brother. Fuck, I'd kill them all. I couldn't be locked in a house that long with that many personalities and characters. I'm a chameleon and I get along with everyone. But, that's a big experiment of pushing human mental, it's just mental games at the end of the day. It's survival of, the mentally tough and the crafty and the shifty. That's not me. But I would be pretty handy in the house. I'd find a way to escape, I tell you. Unseen. Hi, Beck. How are you, darling? Oh, thank you, darling. Oh, so this is another thing. So I love seeing the girls on here as well. Yeah, that's it, Paul. So what I've loved about this journey is, when I get the stories about the husbands watching my videos and the wives get pissed off that they're watching the videos and the wives are like, what are you watching and who's that person swearing? And then, they'll come back and go, oh, shit, now my wife's watching it. And then, a month later, it's like, oh, fuck, she's watching your episodes before I get home and she's not allowed to. We've got to watch them together. And then those beautiful people that have gone, you know what? My wife started watching your videos and now she wants a bike. And then a month or so later, they'll go, oh, she's got a bike. And I'm like, oh, so excited. And then a month later, oh, she's done her first ride and she dropped it 3 times and she got back on and she was laughing. That, to me, is gold. The fact that, so many people were inspired either to ride more or start riding or wives started watching it, or, you know, kids have watched it and found some sort of benefit out of it, or inspiration out of it, that, you know, like I said, these were my memoirs. You know, I didn't go out to make inspirational videos or tutorials or to make a buck. I've never made a cent out of these. But hey, guess what? When I made a video last week and I went back and got some footage from my Desert Raid 2019 and my first 32-day journey, YouTube turned adverts on. I didn't know. So apparently I think after 2 years, they'll turn the adverts on, and obviously you don't make anything out of it. And a lot of people said to me, turn the adverts on, you'll make money out of it. I refused to do it because this was my memoirs. This was not a paid ride. Nobody owned me. And so you all know, on this whole entire journey, I've paid full price for all my mechanical repairs, my boots, my clothes, my helmets, everything that I've bought. You know, I'd be lucky if I get a $5 discount here or there, but I've paid for the whole lot along the way. And, you know, when I stay with people, I like to buy food and buy drinks or shout at dinner. I always like to, you know, keep the scales balanced, because I've been like that my whole life. And, you know, I didn't want anyone in any way, shape or form to own me on my journey. So the beauty is that if I rave about a product, you know it's a good one, because I wasn't paid for it. And if a product is shit or a place is shit, I can say so, because no one's paying me to say otherwise. So, but maybe when I get back from this journey, I might have to turn the adverts on, because YouTube's going to do it anyway. So, and I've got no idea how to do that. I'll have to speak to my son when I get back. Did you buy the food when staying in Wodonga? I shouted Trish. And I made snitchels one night. Yeah, everywhere I go, like, I try and do something. Probably the most over-top generous people were Josie and Chris in Tassie. Their generosity, how they put me up in their beautiful little attic, and you know, their feeders and amazing cooks, and their generosity was just the adventure fuel bag was over the top, and I thank you for that, folks. The adventure fuel bag was good, except that the childproof lock was shit on it. Actually, when I first bought it, before I went on the journey, lucky I checked it before I left, because the childproof lock failed. So I sent it back to Adventure Moto. They were great. They're so good with their exchange policy. They got another one out straight away. But I didn't like the childproof lock. It was shit. And 25,000 kilometres later, when I got to Brizzy and I popped in to see them, he said, Ros, just pop it off, put some glue on it, whack it back on. I was like, beauty. So I did that. It's been mint ever since. But the fact that it just sits flat pack on the top of my backpack, top bag's mint. How many back ties did I go through? I have to go and sit down and work that out one day. I would reckon, because I get, you know, 6 to 7,000 Ks out of the Dunlop 606. Brilliant tyre. Maybe 10, possibly. But I change them early if I know that, you know, I'm not going to another major town in you know, 4,000 or 5,000 kilometres. So I've done everything prematurely. Could have got heaps more kilometres out of the tyres that I had on there, but just didn't want to risk it, you know. So yeah, the Dunlop 606 was mint. Hard to get during COVID though. What else? What else? Yeah, they are the best. Did you ever think about a drone? Yep, I did. Oh, there's a Mozzie. Sorry. I'm a Mozzie magnet. There's nothing I haven't bitten on this journey. I did think about a drone before I left to go on this journey, but I didn't even bring a laptop. I've done everything on this phone. It was just another thing that I had to worry about getting stolen. I did hear that the gimbals on them are really susceptible to getting damaged with vibrations. And you know what? It's just another piece of tech. You got to stop, you got to unpack it, you got to fly it up, you got to bring it down. It interrupts your ride. You got to charge it, another thing to charge overnight. You know, for me, just with the GoPro and the phone and making my eye movies on my phone, you know, that was effort. That took effort. Throw in, you know, drone footage at the same time and another appliance to charge and, you know, to pack it safely. And the amount of times I fucking dropped my bike, seriously, people. I just wanted to keep it simple. And no doubt, from some of the places I've been to, drone footage would have just add another whole dimension to the journey. But it just wasn't worth the extra stress and grief and luggage space. You know, bottle of red brought me a lot more joy. Had to leave room for the wine and the chocolate. Did I get sick? Apart from my cartwheel down the gib, I had severe whiplash and a fractured back rib, but I rode every day. So the day after the journey, I still rode. I rode 50 kilometres. By about the fourth day, I had to stay at Elizabeth Station for 3 days because the 30-kilometre Coro ride in turned my super bad whiplash into severe whiplash. So I couldn't actually move my head up or down, left or right, more than a couple of mils without wanting to vomit. So by that time, I'd actually called the Royal Flying Doctor, and not for an aeroplane to fly me out because I knew that would be the end of my journey, but just to get a doctor to come out and double check and make sure that I didn't have a fractured or broken vertebrae in my neck. That was ready to snap my spinal cord. So I called the Royal Flying Doctor Service. They sent out beautiful Mary Jane. She was beautiful. So she came out, did the whole full physical, got a surgeon on the phone, double checked with them, went through it all again. And they both deduced that no, I didn't break or fracture anything in my neck. Yet likely a fractured ribbon in the back between my shoulder blades, which still gives me grief now. And that I would just have severe whiplash. So I was on double dose ibuprofen, and because I don't take any drugs, you know, I'm lucky of either Panadol or an ibuprofen ever. You know, I can't take Panadine Forte because I've got intolerance to codeine, so I'm just tough. I don't like taking anything, and I'd rather be aware of my pain so that I don't overuse a joint or an injury. So yeah, she gave me double dose ibuprofen, and I took that for the next 10 days while Mark and I continued our journey out of the gib. And yeah, made it. After 10 days, I stopped taking them because it burnt a hole in my stomach. But I still suffer from lower back pain from it, and the last 2 or 3 months, it's actually been worse. I can't wait to get to my chiropractor. So that's probably the only thing. I've had spider bites, a scorpion bite, a centipede bite, another spider bite, ticks. Yeah. So just all the usual, but all good. Oh, I wish I could see all these questions that have gone past. There's so much. Sorry, I'm just talking so much. I'd love to answer more of the questions. I might have to kind of do this over a couple of sessions, I think. Bedtime. Good night, Craig. Thanks for joining us, doll. Nah. Oh, how do I see more of these questions? I don't know how to scroll down on it. I'll settle back. You know, I'll survive. I'm just so adaptable. Oh, anti-straps. Anti-straps, I swear by them. They're the best panniers. They're so bulletproof. Oh, mate, I've gone through about 10 pairs of reading glasses. Yeah, 10 pairs. I got one in my top bag, one in my pannier, one in my fucking cosmetic case, one in my backpack, everywhere. Is there any piece of gear that you missed? No. I took too much. So every major... Yeah, and one of the spiders was in my pants. Like I dressed and I was riding off and I actually felt it, bit me on the thigh. So it bit me on the thigh as I'm riding. I actually grabbed my pants and I did that. So it was my riding pants. So I held the spider, pulled up, got off the bike, pulled my pants down, flipped my pants inside out. And it was a big wolf spider. Mate, that was sore for about 3 weeks. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's not good, Fran. Not good at all. Anti-straps, yeah, they're bulletproof. They're just, you know what? Anti-straps has worked on the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. And the only reason why I came across them was when I did Desert Raid 2019, 8 months into adventure riding, went out to the desert, my first ride, big ride ever. Got out there, 52 riders, 82% of the riders had these ugly, basic chafe bags. I was a Gucci Louis Vuitton girl prior to this journey, and I'm like, oh, Moscows, oh, Kriegers, what the hell are these bags? Why is everyone using these bloody horse chafe bags? But yeah, it wasn't until I got back to Perth and Jason at Motorrad, he goes, here you go, Roz. He weighed a Krieger, because I wanted the 30-litre ones, and one Krieger weighed 2.5 kilos, and a pair of anti-straps weighed 2.25. And they were just so basic that they worked. They're tough, they're rugged, they're light. You couldn't kill them. Yep. Oh, can I? I can scroll. Oh, there we go. I can scroll up and down. Yay. Johnny Wombat, am I surprised by my popularity? You know what? I'm just me. More than anything, it did surprise me, and I'm still kind of not used to it when I rock into a town and someone goes, Roz! Whether it's, out of a car or on a motorbike, Roz! And I'm going, oh, fuck, who's that? Oh, don't recognise the face, you know. And then they'll come and go, oh, we've been following your journey. I'm like, oh. So I'm still kind of not used to that. And it's so humbling. It's so beautiful. You know, there's sometimes like, you know, I've just gunned into town to get fuel and get out. And then somebody recognised me, stops, and 2 hours later we're chin wagging. And then I'm like, oh, now I'm leaving town. It's late in the afternoon. Come in, Laurie. You're all right, darling. And it's late in the afternoon. I've got to find somewhere to camp. But the people that you meet, it's phenomenal. You know, I've met the most incredible people on this journey, and I wouldn't give up those moments for anything. Just, you know, all walks of life, and people surprise you. You know, you don't expect them to do what they do, or had a bite that they had, or, you know, have a profession that they have, or I just love the stories. Yeah, it's been all part of the most amazing journey. All right, first question. Having been there and done it, on a Sarah, what are your thoughts on those that are adamant you need to be? You know, so this is the one thing that still cracks me up. When a couple of people said postie bikes, mate, that's it. When, you know, early in the piece, a couple of people said on my YouTube videos, oh, Roz, you know, when your riding progresses, you should get a BMW F650 or, you know, DR650, you know, and I'm going, when my riding progresses, have you not seen my videos? Have you not seen the trails that I've been on? And I can pick that bitch up when I drop her. So, you know, like, do I need a bigger bike? You know, I'm a 50 kilo girl. I'm as strong as fuck, but I'm still a 50 kilo girl, you know, small stature. You know, I ride gnarly trails, I'm knackered. You try and pick your bike up 3 times when you've dropped it in deep sand or mud, or you've been riding all day, or you're hungry and you've got no energy. For me, I just wanted a bike that could take me to the magical places, carry all my shit. I didn't have to change the oil every, you know, 1,000 kilometres. You know, on the CRF 250L, it's a road bike engine in a trail bike body. So in the service schedule, all changes are every 12,000 Ks. I do it every 5,000 because I love my bike. But it is a low maintenance, good quality, you know, could be a little bit lighter even for what it is. But she's a cracker of a bike, and she just gets me into the magical places. I don't need a bigger bike. Sometimes I think there might be 5% of the times ever of being on the bike that I go, yeah, I wish I could do 140 kilometres an hour to get off this blacktop, get to the end destination real quick. Or once or twice when I was, you know, just needed that tiny little bit of extra grunt to get up a gnarly hill without having to drop down a gear. That would have been good. But, you know, so actually, to be honest, that's 1% of the times out of the 48,500 kilometres. 1% of the time I would have thought, you know, yeah, I would have preferred something with a little bit more power. But apart from that, for me, she's been the best bike. She's been hands down the best bike. You know, is she comfortable? Does she have unlimited power? Nah. Mate, I get a 725 kilometre range on my fuel range. You know, every 5,000 Ks I change the oil. You know, I can pick that bitch up when I drop her. I don't need anything else just right now. There's no such thing as a perfect adventure bike. If Honda made this same bike with the 450 engine in it, with the low maintenance service, perfect, would have bought it, but it's not. It's an enduro engine. Start reviewing Aussie Reds. I can do that. And steak burgers, maybe. That's a good idea. But, you know, like, this was never... These videos weren't promotional videos. And you know what? The only reason why now I talk more to people in my videos than I did, only because, Reds, they're full of resveratrol, which is a powerful antioxidant. So they're good for you. But a couple of people in the early days on the YouTube say, you know, Roz, can you tell us more about that track, and can we see a little bit more of you when you're talking? Those videos have only developed. I did Taffy. I was going to go home through the Nullarbor, but the universe didn't make it so. So I developed the videos more because people asked, and they just kind of grew that way. Taffy, I was going across the Nullarbor, so that was my way home. You know, I was doing Australia clockwise. But then when I went through, what was it? What was that mountain? The Remarkable. And then got to Wilmington, caught up with Bob, and then from Wilmington rode down to Quorn, And riding down to Corn, the Flinders was on my right-hand side. And I teared up. I got really emotional. There's something about the Flinders Ranges. It has got a zen for me that resonates. And it was calling my name. The whole time I was riding, looking at it, tears in my eyes, calling my name. And Mark and I didn't do enough. You know, we were in Corn. There was an outbreak of COVID in Adelaide. We jumped on our bikes and gunned it. You know, we had 48 hours to get to the border. We did the first night at East Burkina Gorge, second night Arkaroola, and went through Mount Hopeless like King. We were totally pricing it out of there. And we got to Cameron's Corner with 4 hours up our sleeve. So I didn't see enough of the Flinders. So once I got into the Flinders, I thought, fuck it, I've got to do the Flinders. Then once I did Flinders, I thought, oh, Fink's just around the corner. And Sunday, the 14th of the Fink, was my 365th day anniversary. And I went, oh, I can't be this close to Fink and not go to Fink. So kind of universe just kept pushing me up that way. So I missed out on the Nullarbor. And I really want to do the Nullarbor. I want to do the old air highway and the ghost towns and all of that. So that's another adventure. So next time if I take off again on a big journey, I'll go out that way and do it then. So unfinished business on the bucket list. Brookhampton. Oh, she's amazing. She's, you know, and I it wasn't until somebody said, oh, you use a lot of Brookhampton quotes. And it wasn't until I actually sort of really looked that I went, oh, shit, yeah, I do. And then I looked up more of her quotes, and she's definitely a writer that I resonate with. So somebody actually asked me a lot, you know, where do you get all your inspirational quotes? I just come across them. And sometimes I'll, you know, type in a paragraph or a phrase or a sentence and then see what comes up. But all of the quotes that I use are just something that I read and I go, oh, fuck yeah. You know, it just resonates with me. It resonates with the way I feel, resonates with the way I think. Oh, and people, I never used to swear this much. Dirt life did it to me. Corn's beautiful. I could easily live in that little town. Oh, the Mac! Ian McIntosh. So you got the Ural yet? Are you ready to hit the dirt, buddy? I've met some amazing people on this journey. Oh, hi. Hola, ¿qué pasa? Sergi Torres from Spain. I lived in Spain many years ago, amigo. I lived in Spain in 1990 in the Catalonia region and went all the way down, travelled down and lived up in the mountains, Sierra Nevada. I loved it. Oh, Ian, good to see you. Do you think you write a book? A lot of people have said that, but I don't need to write a book. I've got the videos, mate. What else is there to say? I've said it all in the videos. But I would like to one day when I go back, get a big HEMA actual map book and go through with a texter and map my whole journey in a big Australia HEMA map book, you know, like an A3 size, and then on that page of that leg of the journey and stick some photos in and maybe write something in the bottom, but I'd love to do a hard copy of something like that. Good night from Rebecca, Fran. When I'm writing, I no longer channel Toby Price, I channel... Good one, Ross. Oh, Toby was a cracker saying that for me. He was such a trooper. What a legend. Oh, that's funny. September. Oh, Mac, you must be spewing, darling. You must be spewing big time. I'm just going to go back and see some of these because I really want to answer some of the questions. Thank you, Taffy. You get 21 per litre on your DR650 full of load and you're a big guy. That's good. So I get 25 kilometres per litre. I get more on the dirt, sometimes 26 and a half, 27, and on the blacktop, sometimes 24, 23 and a half, 24, maybe as low as 22. So on average, 25 kilometres per litre or 4 per 100. You know what? Yeah, a lot of people have said that Honda needs to sponsor me with a bike. But to be honest, you know, when somebody sponsors you something and gives you something, you can't back the shit out of it when shit goes wrong. And I'm a very honest person. I couldn't lie. Well, I think there's like Aaron Steinman in New Zealand. He travelled around the world for 3 years on his KTM 500 EXC. So a lot of people, and my mate, Glenn Baker back in Perth, he's travelled a shit longer than I have. So it's a lot of people that have travelled out there a lot longer than me. But mate, I'll tell you, 14 months has gone by so fast. Yeah, I get anxiety, bloody passing traffic. I just can't stand traffic. Your fuel mileage is almost double of your Africa. Oh, is that right? Wow. Yeah, but that's a big heavy bike. So many reds and such a sharp mind. Actually, so here's a home truth, people. I don't drink a lot. I'm a one glass screamer. So I know I make a big hoo-ha about my reds in my video, but I just love that. One glass of red by a campfire on a good night, I have two. If I'm really on a roll and it's a great red that hasn't got heaps of sulfites and I'm in good company, I've had a massive steak, maybe I can push three, but no, I'm a one glass screamer. Oh, I'd love not for the journey to end. But, you know, I miss my son, I miss my dog, I miss my mum, you know, I miss my besties back home, I miss my sister, I miss my brothers, I really miss them badly, hey. You only hate the road when you miss home. I really want to see them. You know, I handle civilization. I'm a chameleon, darling. I adapt to everything. It's just like bubbles and lemonade. Thanks, Josie. Mate, the two of us together, we're fucking champagne. I had the best laughs with you. I look back on those videos now, darling, and I fucking crack up laughing. So funny. Oh, Ace Classics. Hey, Dougie. Hi. How are you two going? Oh, I've got to get to one of your rallies one of these days with your bikes. I'll come see you again. I've got to do more of the great Otways. What's that? Found it weird why someone in Cooper Petty would pitch a tent at Reba's underground camping experience. So, Peter, your stories of the places you've been in your adventures are unbelievable. Like, you've just been everywhere, man. You've been everywhere. Having been there, what are your thoughts on those that are adamant you need a bigger bike? Yep, I've already done that. Don't need a bigger bike. Surprised by the popularity. Yeah. Thanks, Josie, for telling me about the scroll. That's awesome. Have a 1200 GSA and ridden all over. It just doesn't stop. You don't need to carry spare fuel. True. And so back in my crew back at home, Sean Francois Blanche, he taught me definitely 2 or 3 techniques that, you know, I could not have survived without. They were amazing. But Sean and Gary, watching them, and Emma now as well. So Emma's been riding another whole year on her GS 1200 since I've been away. But watching Gary and Sean on their GS, their 1200s, they're freaking magic. These guys are Toby Price on these monster machines, and it's just, it's awe-inspiring to watch. Phenomenal. I just don't think I could ever do it. Yep, got the tent poles back and the pegs. Yep, absolutely. Good to go. So, yeah, Ben, bless his cotton socks, express post from Esperance, I'm stoked. Have I had any safety problems? Seen one of the girls got done and robbed over in Burke at something in... Oh, yeah. So, Gwyneth, I actually... we tic-tac. We talk together. She's a cracker. I love that chick. And so, people, I'm very capable. So I had a CZ SPO2 Shadow, 9mm handgun, very adept in rifles, very confident with knives, got a big knife collection. My ex used to wrestle. He used to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I actually do that with my dog out in the park. I got a big Neapolitan Mastiff mixed with Great Dane, and he looks brutal, but he's a big sookie lala. But yeah, we wrestle out in the park, and it's funny when cars drive past and they wind the window down and go, "Oh my God, are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just having fun." But my dog latches onto my arm and he knows exactly how hard he can bite without hurting me. And mate, we wrestle, I get him in a headlock and he's like all growly. So I'm very, very capable. And I spend a lot of time out in the wild and you know, ducking and diving from wild feral pigs. So I'm not worried out in the wild. I think if anyone came across me and threatened me in any kind of way, it'd be the biggest mistake ever. Yeah, I'm not that fearful, darling. Yeah, I'm more fearful of, you know, getting stuff stolen off my bike or my bike stolen. That's probably the only thing that ever made me nervous, you know, when you pull up at a gorge or something like that, you know, leaving your bike there. But you know what? It's been so safe. I haven't had any shitty-ass experiences so far in Crocodile Rosie. Yeah, so crocodiles, probably the only thing that made me a bit nervous. Yeah, I've got a big knife collection. Yeah, I like my knives sharp. Yeah, so, you know, I cut up all my own meat and stuff like that. And So yeah, I'm not scared. But never say never. I never let my guard down. When I set up camp, my bike's pointing in the direction of where I need to make a quick exit. So I never, ever, ever estimate your safety. You always got to think about your safety and be prepared. And that's all you can do. So, if I'm somewhere where I think there might be a threat, I don't sleep in my sleeping bag. I use it like a quilt so I can throw it off. My bike is pointing in the direction of the trail. So if I've got to take off in the dark, I know there's no logs, there's no twigs, there's no sticks in front of my bike, and I know I can just get on my bike and bang, the keys are in the ignition, ready to go, my boots are ready to go. My bags are all packed up, the straps are all done up. I'm very prepared, and I'm very conscious about it. I think about things like that. So I'm not fearful because I am prepared, in the event of any kind of emergency, whether that be a wild animal or a wild human or, anything such. So if anything actually did happen, it would have to be pretty serious, but it wouldn't be because I wasn't prepared. What else? Bike Territory is a top bloke. Oh, mate, he was awesome. He was freaking awesome. And how good's that place? I actually want to go back there one day, and I'll pay and go camp out there. And Frank Wildwood Ross, I'll go out there and I want to ride around his property. He was gold. You know what? I'm so glad. Poor Victorians, and now you poor New South Welshmen. But all the people that have, watched my videos and, while they were in lockdown, it was just so heartwarming, them to say that they were using the videos to prepare their journeys and to stay sane. And fuck, my heart's bled for you people. Honestly, if that was me in lockdown, I don't know how I would have survived. I probably would have had to actually freaking resort to doing something illegal and sneak out. I just don't know that I could spend as much time as you guys have done in lockdown. That's just mental torture. And, don't even get me started with this whole COVID thing, because as soon as I voice my opinion, I've never seen Australia so divided and so at each other's throats and so fearful and angry and frustrated and scared and, opinionated. What's happening in this time just doesn't make sense. It's just pure madness. And, anyone who has an opinion is, setting themselves up in the firing line to get cut down and shot down for having an opinion. Once upon a time, you could have an opinion. And, I made sure that the opinions that I had, I did the research and went and got facts from, proper credible sources. But man, fuck, did I ruffle some feathers. So yeah, I'm not going down that path. It's just, we're living in mad times. So I feel sorry for everybody who's suffering lockdown right now. It's just the cartoon images is a free app called Bitmoji, Bitmoji, and I've been using it for some time now because I'm a picture speaks louder than words kind of a person, and so yeah, Bitmoji, and you can use it in your normal keyboard. So when I'm texting normal friends from my phone and that, you use it there. You can save the images, but you make your own little avatar. And mate, there's like designer clothes on there. You can put designer clothes and Adidas trackies and different hats, and it's freaking awesome. So yeah, if anyone wants to play in your board and lockdown, download the Bitmoji app and make your little avatar and have some fun. Cudman, Heavy Bowie, it's a truly, that's not a knife, my favourite's an osprey. So yeah, one of the editors were actually owners of all the hunting and shooting magazines. He sent one to my mate for me, and I love it. It's my favourite knife. I think the most magical place you visited is Tasmania. Oh, all the eagles were incredible. The eagles in Tassie were just something else. Where's the chocolate? I know, you know what? Like, I'm dying of thirst and I'm so hungry and I'm so thirsty and I'm busting for a bee. And I'm just thinking of my chocolate raspberry bullets, but to talk and eat with my mouth full. I've done that on a couple of videos, and when I'm editing the footage, I'm going, oh, fuck, you can hear that I'm eating. That's really rude. Yeah, Tasmania was incredible. The chocolate's in my room, and I'm going to go smash a whole packet after this because I'm starving. Yeah, correct. Yeah, Evel Knievel. Yeah, there's a lot of ugliness going on in the world. I just feel devastated for the human race. This is just unprecedented what's happening. Tallarook. Oh my God, I love Tallarook. So all the Victorian High Country, I didn't get to finish off because actually, I had to go to Tassie. Like, it was the 15th of December. I knew I only had a month left to catch some heat in Tassie. So it's all unfinished business. I've got the Eastern High Country to do. I haven't done the Gawler Ranges. I haven't done the Nullarbor. In Tassie, I didn't get around to going to Port Arthur because it started bloody snowing and I was freezing my tits off and I had to go. The mouse ate the chocolate, Greg. Yeah, that's right. Have you now? So that's another thing. New Zealand was going to be part of this big adventure. I was dying to go to New Zealand. I did my first trip there in August 2018 for 7 days before I was doing adventure riding. And I cried. I didn't want to leave. I loved it. I knew New Zealand for me, I could have lived there. I didn't want to come back. So New Zealand was going to be part of this journey and I wanted to do 2 months, North and South Island. And COVID screwed that up for me. I never had that opportunity. And then as soon as they sort of did open it up, it was too freezing cold. That's why I left Tassie, because it was freezing cold. But I'm dying to go to New Zealand. I want to do North and South Island extensively over 2 or 3 months. So that's unfinished business. And I'm definitely going back. Yeah. When I get an opportunity to see what happens with COVID, COVID has screwed up so many people's plans and travels. So yeah, now that I ride an adventure bike, New Zealand's a must. Want to catch up with Aaron Steinman. When he was in Perth, I invited to catch up and we never did, but we tic-tacked once he got back to New Zealand. And through COVID, he was sending me pictures of a property he was, locked down on, and oh my God, it was amazing. So yeah, I'm dying to go to New Zealand. And not only for that, because I love the hiking and I love the bush and I love the wildlife. My partner asked me to ask you, Roz, how did you feel about going full off-road in the Flinders with another adventure guide that you only just met? And where was that? Off-road in the Flinders. John? One, because I'm a good judge of character. 2, if he ended up turning out to be an axe-wielding maniac, unlucky for him. There's, no way. What are the chances of having 2 people in one place? Yeah, I felt perfectly safe. Now, he was a good guy. And, I have to say, since I took up adventure riding, I've been gobsmacked. There is nothing quite like the adventure riding community. Adventure riders are just a whole different breed of people. They're trusting, they're helpful. You meet complete stranger adventure riders and you bend over backwards to help them. I would take adventure riders into my house, when I get back and I've got a spare room if I stay there long enough. I've invited complete strangers to come and stay at my house that I've only sort of met online. But you know what? This is the adventure riding community. They're just a whole different breed of people. I just can't explain it. I trust adventure riders and I wouldn't think of, definitely. Greg, I'll do the high country with Greg too. New Zealand, where I live there, and a good tour guide. Yep, definitely, I'll come to New Zealand. I had no 2 ways about it, but it all depends on bloody COVID again. Positive energy is contagious. If you provide more to humanity than you're probably aware of. Oh, thank you, Evil Knievel. Thank you, darling. I recently was alerted about Glasshouse Mountains. I didn't get there either. There's a lot of places that I missed out on. A lot of places. Have you read New Zealand? Mouse ate the chocolate. I can't wait to go back and see all these questions, and then I don't know whether or not I can sort of reply. Tassie was magical. Highly recommend coming to Heavy Bowie. Truly, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Quote. Yeah, that's it. I know. So New South Wales still in lockdown. Victoria. The cartoon, I've done that. Good Girl Scout. I did do brownies when I was younger. And Venturers. Yep, loved it. I'll keep trying to do videos. Wild Woman Roz, yep. Bike Territory, Top Bloke. Oh, mate, there's so many comments I've got to go back and have a look on. No pressure, but do you plan to make more travel vids? I'll just keep doing them. as I go. Mate, guys, 99 minutes. We've been talking for 99 minutes. Can I please adopt you as my younger sister, Zell? Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can be my brother from another mother. Okay. All right, guys. I'm busting for a wee. I'm starving. We've been talking for, okay, 100 minutes. I'm knocking off. I'll do this again. I promise. I promise I'll do this again. I'll do this over the next week. 147 people are on. It's beautiful. All right, people, I'm going. I'll do this again. I'll do it again in another week. So, and then next time, off topic, I meant to pass on to you, quick tip, might consider adding a steering stabiliser. Yeah, I'll definitely do a steering dampener for sure. You know, I should have done it before I left, but it was just another thing. Catch up again. Chris Carr, Roger Boyd, Kayla, Paul, Peter Horse, Hatman, Kev, Lisa, Evil Knievel. Oh my God, I love you guys. And I'll try and do another one of these, Evil Knievel, California. I'll try and do another one of these, Mal Cross. Oh my God, I'm seeing all these names. Paul McCann, Ed Barker, Taffy. Oh, fucking love you guys. I love you. I love you all so much. My dirt friends. So what I'll try and do is I'll try and do another one of these at an odd time in the morning, so then all the UK and American friends that you know can be up and have that chit chat as well, because I'm a bit of a night owl as well. I don't mind doing that too. So I love you all. Thank you. It's always an adventure. Carry on. I love everyone. Bye-bye. Good night. I'll see you on the trails. Love you folks. Thanks, everyone. I'll go back and I'll read all the comments and that if I'm allowed to, if they come up. See ya. Bye. Carry on.